All right. All right, guys. Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang. Good to be back. Good to be back. And today we're talking all about imagination. Okay? Imagination. And I think it's gotta get the pocket square looking fresh. All right. Sweet. What's up, guys? So this is a topic that came up today as I was really starting to understand how much images in our minds start to control us, start to move us, start to make us feel that we're overwhelmed or move us towards a specific way that maybe we don't want to be like that, or maybe we don't want to even go there, right? In terms of that mindset. But the images that are formed in our minds, right? Maybe past images from the past, right? Memories that we may have, right? Or we may explore certain techniques to master our mind or start to understand that there is this proper understanding of what kind of image we are actually creating. Okay. So, imaging, I want you to think of this concept like the soul's blueprint, right? Because imaging isn't just visualization. In esoteric teachings, it is your soul's original memory. It is a sacred photo negative of your true path, right? So you can think of it like you don't make up the dream, you just remember the dream, right? So the soul is considered imaging, and all we're thinking of is in images, right? Imagery. So there's this theory called imago theory. Let's see what imago theory is. Imago theory by Harville Hendricks says, we are unconsciously attracted to romantic partners who reflect both the wounds and the gifts of our early caregivers. Okay. So in this particular way, the imago isn't psychological. It's like a soul choreography that's happening. That means the partners that you've chosen aren't random. Okay. We are all trying to alchemize our wounds into wisdom through different ways, right? So even the word imago has the word image in it. So it's always being something is being projected inner world to the outer world, right? And sometimes there's weird discrepancies between the inner and outer world. That's what we're going to discuss as well. Let me just share this with the tribe first. All right. Oh, it's kind of difficult to share this. Hmm. Let me just do it through my phone. Much easier. All right, cool. Two people watching. What's up, guys? Oops. All right, let's get it today. Okay, let's get it. So, those with rich or abundant imagining, okay, are walking in a living dream of their own creation. Okay, so winners don't just hustle, winners hallucinate better than others. Are we getting this? Now, I'm not talking about like paranoia, schizophrenia, psychosis. I'm talking about a mental immersion or understanding that I and the image are one, right? So when you take the word image, you notice it's I-MAGE. So to become the I-MAGE, you have to understand your relationship to source. Because I and I, okay, one of one. If you understand, that's the Rastafari, I and I, right? That's the energy that we have to understand. So they see it clearly in their minds before anybody else does. Now, a lot of people, they have better, more vivid imaginations, and I'm going to teach you some techniques to do this as well, because I know certain people out there exist, right? Like my cousin sister, she cannot imagine or visualize anything when she closes her eyes, right? And I've asked her about this. She just doesn't see anything. Like certain people that will see, like, you can imagine like there's a, if I close my eyes right now, you guys can try this, an orange, right? You notice the texture of the orange, you notice the skin of the orange, right? And how it feels in your hand. You also maybe even notice the smell of the orange, right? Now you're getting into proper imaging of it because you have a reference, an understanding of what an orange actually is, right? As opposed to not really knowing what an orange is and then first time hearing about it, it's gonna flip your world upside down like the Fresh Prince, right? So that's why we have to start to understand that certain winners, right? Samba, welcome. Champagne. Yep. So that's how they bend the world around them, right? Certain rich people can return on their dreams on command. So they can have a dream and then they can go back into the dream that they have created, right? I've done this multiple times. I think Ellie has also done this multiple times. And it's tricky. It's tricky because sometimes you go back and the circumstances change as you have more of this liminal understanding of like this waking world and then the dream realm, right? So basically, people can do the same understandings of a dream and a daydream. So a dream and a daydream to a winner is actually very, very similar. It's just as an adult, we start to daydream with intention, with actual refinement. It's not this scattered, like, topsy-turvy, trippy thing, like the thing going on behind me. It's kind of very refined now, right? It has a structure to it. This is actually what it's like being in the astral world a little bit, huh? Right? Or if you're taking a psychedelic. But yeah, essentially, DNA carries imaging bandwidth. So this isn't just woo-woo, guys. Some souls incarnate with more of a creative signal bandwidth. So imaging becomes their karma and their dharma. Okay, so imaging is inherited like a voice tone or a musical talent, right? You see, God sends a few people to write imaging, and the rest are stuck with pixelated inner screens where they can't even imagine it, right? So most people's imaging is not even their own. Think about this. They parrot dreams that they inherited from watching Gary Vee or like, being scared of something or even family drama or something like this, right? They work in jobs that they secretly despise. They're chasing a family that's not even really theirs, which is resulting in a very slow what? A soul death, right? Your want isn't your want. The unconscious becomes conscious, and most people start crying with relief. Hey there, Kamadeva. There's a little parrot that just came in as I was talking about parrots. Um, yeah, of course, all of my guides are here. They're always active. By the way, yeah, I came into work today and all the dogs just stood up and they started barking in rhythm. They started barking in rhythm, guys. I'm not making this shit up. Weird things happen around me. Anyway, arr, arr, arr. Right? Imagine if you had the national anthem with dog version or something, right? Arr, 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 arr. It was rhythmical. I was like, what? That's not normal, right? Troll goals or soul goals. In the end, your soul's mission, find your soul's mission, then go upward spiral all the way. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the upward spiral, by the way, is inwards and upwards, right? It's like we're always coming back to the self, understanding the self and the source, slowly start to merge, right? Pollinate together, understand this energy merging with each other, right? Powerful. So you can imagine through isolation and meaning, okay? Leaving the noise of the matrix, which is like a big city. Like let's say you're in a really big city, there's lots of noise, lots of chaos, but then you go into, let's say, nature, right? Or in the middle of nowhere, or you go out into like an open field of grass, right? It helps you to recover the original signal of your imaging. This is why if you're just playing Fortnite and like different video games all day, you lose your imagination actually, right? Because they are telling you what you have to imagine now. You have to imagine these characters, these weapons, this circumstance in this game, this proper understanding of the map, this energy sequence in the game, right? Whereas we should be looking at our lives like a game. And Jumanji, okay? I'm gonna spit some bars on that for sure for Jumanji June. But yeah, only then can our true archetypes emerge, right? When we take away all this noise, the EMI, as we call it, right? The ego mind identity, it gets louder in big cities and chaotic, like big environments where there's a lot of people, a lot of noise and so forth, right? So people like us, when we slow down, we don't become hippies. We actually become more lethal. Okay. So forget journaling your goals. If your imagining engine is broken, then you're just manifesting becomes a delusional thing. Of course, we talk about delusional confidence, but let's get it clear, okay? What delusional confidence really is a core confidence, and it's not comparing itself to anything else, right? Because real confidence is a comparison, or is it an aliveness, right? A presence to the moment. Whereas, oh yeah, I'm confident because I have all these accreditations, I have all of these experiences, and I've done this and I've done that, and I have this accomplishment. Yeah, but also, what if it's clear that you don't chase the future, it arrives on time, like a well aimed prophecy in a sense, right? In a world of forms, if you can't see what you want, then you're doing it wrong. So smart work emerges from the images in your mind, not just effort, not just pushing, right? Hard work without imaging becomes a soulless labor. And you see this all around you guys. You're grinding for a dream you never truly wanted, right? So let's say you're forced into doing some bachelor's degree or some program where you're like, I don't know if I really want to do that. Hey there, love. So smart work means downloading the divine temple and executing with clarity, right? True confidence isn't existing onto yourself, is exposed to existing as a reaction to existence, right? Exactly. Because arrogance is still comparing itself to somebody else, and insecurity is still comparing itself to somebody else, right? It's a superior, inferior dynamic. It's still playing in that paradigm. Whereas in the now, I'm not worried about me losing confidence, like I've lost my wallet or I left my keys at home, right? Which actually happened today, Janu's challenge. So I really want you to understand that working hard at the wrong dream is the biggest waste of the soul. Okay, really let that sink in. Working hard at a wrong dream is one of the biggest mistakes for a soul. Okay, so the ultimate unlock is when your inner vision and outer execution sync up, right? And then the universe gets out of your way because destiny then happens on rhythm. It happens on beat, just like those dogs outside that were barking. Okay, when when a man how would I say this? When a man's want aligns with his need and his imaging, he becomes unstoppable, right? Your want and your need come through the images that you have in your mind, right? And if you can understand Neville Goddard, he talked about this. He called it storytelling and picture taking, okay? So if you look up imaging, you'll find a lot on these notes. And I've been going through Goddard's stuff. And a lot of, mainstream influencers also talk about these topics, right? But one thing I think they're missing is Neville Goddard didn't just teach manifestation, okay? Yo, Oliviera, what's up? What's up? Chilling. So he revealed the metaphysical camera inside your mind and how to snap soul level photos that become your reality. Okay. So imagination is the camera, feeling is the flash. So you impress an image onto your subconscious like a photo negative, right? And then reality is the slow development process. Reality isn't going to show that imaging in your mind in your reality like the next day. It's going to take some time, but most people, they have an intention, they have a clear image in their minds, and something breaks them out of it. Something distracts them, parents come in, some email that shocks them, some text message that breaks them out of the pattern, right? And that contradicts their imaging. You see? So it's like no image equals no result, no emotion equals blurry shot that you're taking, right? It's a blurry shot of the picture. So the world is a mirror reflecting your inner slideshow, right? Mathis says alignment in anything. If you're unaligned, stuff you want never happens as you didn't do the inner work. That's right. That's right. So Neville's magic is he made you feel it was already done by telling you a vivid scene, like a friend congratulating you. Good job, bro. You did it. Right? Just hearing that and understanding the emotions, the feelings associated with that, right? He didn't just teach you to wish for something. He told you to imagine the afterglow of the wish fulfilled, right? So let's say you're getting a trophy for winning that competition, right? What does it feel like to get that trophy? Don't just and imagine the crowd congratulating you for it, right? And really feel and let it marinate, let it cook you, right? Marinate and cook in the wish fulfilled. A good story bypasses doubt because it slides straight into the subconscious mind. That's why Neville emphasized storytelling so much. That also means that we have to look after our current self-image, yep, and work toward when Neville said feeling is the secret, right? The formula was that he said was like you still the body, you imagine a short, simple scene that resonates with your timeline, what you truly want, your ideal life, right? And you feel it as if it's done, and you repeat it until your soul finally accepts it, right? So once the photo is taken, stop adjusting the lens of the camera, right? You just have to walk away in faith, in the knowingness that it's already done, right? That's why I am the flow. Everything, every time I tap in, it helps me, it serves me, okay? And the flow is finished. So that's the real code. Is this gives you a sense of freedom and choice. It gives you like the energetic sequence to then begin this process of manifestation, right? So reality is a picture that's already taken, and your current life is a slideshow of past emotions and images. So to change your timeline, you change the photo album in a sense. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you've already photographed. Okay? So a clear story told from within alters your field, alters your genes, and even your gravitational pull, right? This is how shamanic traditions, prayers, mythic rituals actually work. You tell your story until the gods believe it, right? Why would they tell stories around the campfire like this, right? This is why I was thinking of like, creating the Primal Sutra Nexus into a hyper sigil, into like an actual comic book or something like this, because then we can actually alter that through art, right? Oh man, did I take a screenshot of this? There was an amazing post of for imagination. I might have saved it on my Instagram. I'm just gonna check if I did. I don't always remember to save these things, but when I see them, I try to save them. Mm, no, it's probably not here. Nope. All right, I'll find it later for the adepts and I'll send it to you guys because I think it's a really important one. It was talking about how art is one of the ways to do this as well, like very quickly. And so anyway, like live as though your wish is already fulfilled, not fake it, but faith it. Embed it into your breath. Let every blink become a sacred shudder, right? And you're not becoming something. You're remembering your image. It can burden you if you dabble after it, imagining you wanted something, then you have to protect against doubts and EMI interference. As I got that lesson in many spiritual seekers with spiritual ego. Yeah, man. That's the real challenge. That's the real challenge. It's like you already know how to do this thing, but to be aware of other people's energies and their frequencies, right? I saw like Kai Cenat on a stream or something, and then this random guy was coming up behind him. I just scrolling YouTube. You have the audacity to come up on my stream live and talk like this, right? I think I'm gonna choose to protect my energy, actually. Right? That's what he said, which is really because he's like talking about Kanye or something, that guy. And he was just like, I choose to protect my energy, actually. Right? He just walked away. The guy walked away. Is the moment he said that, right? So spiritual protection, right? Really, really powerful. Being around the right energies. And if you can't deal with this specific energy, work towards really transmuting it, right? So there aren't entities out there. There are intelligent frequencies of energy that are moving through my psyche and my body, right? And showing up in the form that my soul can actually understand it. These are my spirit guides. So my spirit guides are embodiments of archetypal patterns that have always existed in nature and time and whatever, right? And then I choose a theme and immediately all these energies, they magnetize around that theme. So this is what we found out in our path working, right? Each guide is an organizing principle of power. It's an archetype that's dressed in a spirit. I'll give you guys examples so you guys can understand. Reflect using your own guides if you have spirit guides. If you do not, if you're new to this realm, this world, definitely reach out to me, reach out to any of our adepts, just find out more about this stuff because it is really enriching and it's new age. Sure, you can call it new age, but really it's the spiritual technology that the world has been missing. We've always been outsourcing our power. We're talking about insourcing our power, right? Okay. All right. So I'll give you an example. Let's say the archetypal pattern of divine royalty, the king and the queen. We talk about this in the spiritual communities a lot. Hey, they're king. Hey, they're queen, whatever, right? And it really comes through in terms of like a spirit guide form, I've noticed, through a royal guide or like an ancestor frequency, right? Because it's like leadership, sovereignty, root chakra. Then it's like the warrior archetype, which comes in through like a guardian spirit. It could come in through an archangel. It could come in through any different kind of warrior energies, right? Warriors from the past, fighters, okay? Different levels of this thing, right? So I want you to understand the energy that it organizes, right? Is the solar plexus chakra, the warrior, right? Focus, courage, willpower, solar plexus. Then we have the magician, the trickster, like Hermes, the sage, okay? The magician archetype is like Merlin, okay? So like intuition, knowledge, third eye. The lover archetype. I myself am connected to the realm of fairies, fate. Um, Ryan G is connected to Aphrodite. Okay. I'm also kind of vaguely connected to the Venusian energy. We're all kind of tapped into that creativity, love and creativity. I mean, that's the energy of it. It's like the sacral energy, right? The sacral flow of the sacral chakra. And of course, we have the shadow, right? The shadow comes through as an inner critic, a chaos spirit, a demonic energy, a lower astral being, something like this, right? And it's usually through repression, fear, and yeah, you need proper alchemy to deal with these energies, right? You need to not flinch around them and be in peace because even these lower energies, they respect you being in peace. You're not being so reactive around them because the more that you're reactive around these energies, they just start taking power, they start manipulating, they start doing things. But if you're just like in peace, man, I'm already complete. What do you mean, right? The flow is finished. It's already done. The movie credits are rolling already, right? But I'm just in it now. So I understand that. And that understanding actually gives you a lot. of sovereignty, a lot of freedom, right? Got to share a talk I had Friday when I visited a presentation. Three basics: ground, clear, protect, then proceed. That's great. That's great, brother. Thank you for sharing that. On alignment, if that happens, let it be and go is the hardest. Yeah, man. Hmm. It is because we get attached. Again, it's like we cling to it. Can you be ambitious without clinging? Can you be ambitious without clinging to it? That's what we're exploring. Okay. I don't have an answer right now, but I think it's possible. I've seen many people do it. In fact, a lot of people have tried to do it, but again, the trying is still a force. Because if I maximize my talent, right? Michael Jordan, he was meant to play basketball. You get what I mean, bro? Like there's certain people who are meant to do something. Ryan G, we were just talking about how is there a way for you to be ambitious and not cling to the ambition at the same time? And I think that's what we're trying to do, really, right? Is the selflessness with the service as we understand how to merge these two polarities or this dual framework that society is like, you either have to be very successful in this life, right? Or not, or something, right? So it's like this bizarreness. But anyway, let's get back on this topic. So your guides aren't random, okay? They align with the archetypal vortex that you are currently, and I say currently channeling, because even Ryan has to graduate one of his crown deities into more of a serious, not a serious, but from Sirius B starseed energy. And they're basically the archetypal vortex's purpose is to show you how to embody that pattern consciously in your life. Okay. So instead of it being run unconsciously, you're now running it consciously, right? Let's say you're seeing a dragon over and over again. Might be the warrior in you waking up. Let's say you see a feminine presence in your mind. It could be that the lover archetype is guiding you towards sensual wholeness again. Okay, completeness within you, right? Are we getting this? So Primal Sutra reframe is my spirit guides are just archetypes with agency. They don't sit in my psyche, I interact with them. They whisper truths, they challenge my lies, right? They challenge my BS all the time. They're like, "Are you sure you mean that? I mean, what's the point of saying this and that way?" Right? And then they clarify certain things, and then I can then organize my energy field to match the version of me that I already see. Okay? I intend to see that which I desire to see. Okay, I know that's an Abraham Hicks thing, but that's the only thing that I took away from her teachings. Okay, is that one thing. Everything else is kind of like, yes, I get it, but again, there's a lot of difficulty in wrestling with that like attracts like mindset, guys. Okay, because you think of your mind as a movie theater. Okay, you're always imagining, whether you know it or not. Every scene you run in your head becomes a rehearsal for reality. So some people imagine disasters on loop and they call it realism, right? I'm just being realistic. While others imagine beauty and build empires. So choose your real, right? And edit it wisely. Bad images, you got to snap out of it, right? This is why we have mentors, people who tell you, like, look, man, catch that thought early, it's doom and gloom, flip it. Okay? No need for the spiritual bypass, just mental Aikido, right? Just replace the horror stories with the hero arcs. Your nervous system is dumb smart. What do I mean by this? It doesn't know if what you picture is real or fake. It just reacts to the images. You tell it bear, it'll flood you with fear. You tell it victory, it'll prime you with power, right? So when you look at this thing, I'm just checking to see there's a lot of birds outside. This is spiritual neuroscience, and we have to learn how to hack this thing, right? My guides, when I try to evade something or bypass, why are you running? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that happens to me too, brother. Why are you running from this? You know, what's going on? Yeah. And they'll always come through like when I feel like I'm walking on eggshells around a certain thing, they'll always come through in that moment and they'll always like challenge me in that moment. It's like, what is the energy really? Right? Where does this hesitancy come from? You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna actually go and I told one of my students this the other day about guilt. Um, I said, wait. I have to find it. This is too good, man. Okay, many people in the modern world carry a pervasive sense of guilt that isn't necessarily tied to any specific wrongdoing, but instead emerges from a cultural shift towards individualism, where identity is built more around the isolated ego than community or family roles. Just like in, myself in India, there's a very deep communal energy, right? As opposed to if I were just in the West, there would be more of this individualistic framework, right? Collectivism versus individualism. And this guilt is often a subconscious or inherited, right? From a break in tribal or familial belonging, leading to a vague but powerful feeling of being bad or not enough. So the key to moving through it is twofold. First, developing inner vigilance, becoming aware of the guilt that is silently holding you back from joy, ambition, or authentic expression, self-expression. And second, rebuilding connection, investing time in relationships that feel like they're your tribe or your chosen family, which helps you soothe the nervous system and rewire this internalized fear of loneliness, disconnection, isolation. So, in short, you don't need to eliminate your guilt. You need to learn not to obey it. Okay? Are we understanding this? So, your imagination is greater than your willpower, guys. If you don't act, like you don't act because of discipline alone, do you? You act or fail to because the images you believe about yourself. A lot of people, they don't even care about their self-image, bro. I talk to them and like, I don't really care about that, what other people think of me. But you're doing it subconsciously. Okay? You might say you don't care, but subconsciously you do. So what's going on here, right? The mind obeys identity, not commands. So you got to update your inner myth, not just update your morning routine every month. Oui, oui, monsieur. Right? Yo, we got to get Ferris into Saint Germain channeling, right? Ferris, you can check it out in the adapts folder, some of the Saint Germain recordings. My French accent is on point. Also, living in Switzerland, I picked up that the French accent very, very well. I observed it everywhere. So you kind of, you internalize it. But let's say your mental selfies determine your fate, right? So if you view yourself as weak, you will perform like prey. If you view yourself as magnetic, brave, unstoppable, then the world will adjust to that. So don't reflect reality, you project it. Okay. So even in scary image, right? Like if I pull up some scary, freaky ass image, okay, just thinking something's dangerous triggers your full flight on fight response, right? So stop walking around with these imaginary enemies in your mind or people who are like just, hey man, it's just taking up too much of my rent space in my head, right? My real estate in my mind. Right? I better protect that, right? I better replace it with something more beneficial to me right now. So you're better off imagining dragons you slay than snakes that bite you. Okay. So 30 minutes a day of just vivid multisensory visualization is just pure manifestation magic. Okay. So smell the wind, taste the success. I have a particular manifestation one that I can share with the adepts. Let me just do that now before I forget. Um, oh, okay. I have to sign in through my. I'll do it after this. I'll do it after this. Set a reminder. Let me just set a reminder. Okay. And by the way, guys, that meditation The ideas came from working with many, many various mentors. Okay. I've worked with many, many different coaches, mentors, and still some of their ideas, the most profound ideas I've collected in my mind, like the ones that really synchronize with my flow state essence in my journey. And I discard the rest because really it doesn't serve me in the long term, right? So I want to look at this long term. I want to really play this long term. Even if the scene never plays out in that exact way, your system will still perform like you trained for it. So the subconscious loves the pregame. If you run through possible, challenges and solutions in advance, your brain's improv center, which is the prefrontal cortex and the limbic fusion, will catch the vibe and it'll start to execute more smoothly when the time comes up. Okay. So that's like a divine autopilot, right? Not like an anxiety prep. So you don't need proof. You need pictures. You need pictures. Create internal proof with clear mental imagery, and your subconscious won't argue with you. It'll just go, he said we're that now? Okay, deploy sequence. Shh, over. Right? That's belief hacking 101. So stop praying to the past. If you already worship something, it's the image you return to daily. Is it fear, failure, or freedom? Build an altar of imagination, not your old memory. Okay? Any questions on this, guys? I'm about to end it right now. So if we have any questions, I can answer. If not, we will keep it for the next time. All right. So remember, your subconscious isn't your servant. It is a spell book. Okay. Every image that you have becomes an incantation. Something that I've understood with the visualizations that I've been doing is I keep it simple, really simple, and I merge my optimal health, my optimal wealth, and my optimal relationship all in one, all encompassing into this trinity. And once I understand this, I fuse it to create this energetic sequence. Just like you guys remember, we had the image of our tulpas, right? The tulpas are like these egregores or these energies that we made, okay, specifically. And they had the energy of health, wealth, relationships. But also, if you guys remember, there was that one image of like a grassy heart with like eyes on it. I don't know if you guys remember. That was a combination image. And it's gonna like slowly affect our subconscious because we're seeing that image of like a heart, that's relationship. And then we have the eyes, right? The grassiness, right? And then we also have the, wait, let me see if I can find the imagery. Um, was it in the adepts group? Probably. Go to the media there. So find creative ways. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you got to find very, very creative ways to combine these energies together into one transformative visual cue for yourself, right? One after the other. Okay. So, how to spot ego as asking SLW. Okay. So, I had this list of 10 ways to catch the ego. Okay. I'll send that over to you, SLW, after this. I think that's better because it's very standard and it's systematized, right? It's a good way to spot it. But generally, I think the one that Mathis had said, which is true, is the ego wants control, it wants safety, and it wants approval. These three things, right? And so that's one way to understand it. I usually see it as my sense of ego feels like it's restricting me in some way or making me shrink or make me feel smaller. Whereas my divine consciousness or my intuition, it feels expansive. It feels like it's growing into something, right? So the energy feels like, oh, I'm not in this boundary, right? Like a people with egos, they're like, I'm this body, I'm this mind, I'm this character, I'm this ego, I'm this person who's doing all of these things to try to get some, you know, thing out of it, right? Whereas, so it feels restricting, right? It feels like it's closing in. Whereas the other energy just feels like, ah, I've landed. I'm here now. Thank you. Welcome home, right? That's the difference in the energy. You're welcome, brother. All right, let's get it. Upward spiral, gang. May we never be the same again. Peace and love. Many blessings. Let's get it. May the flow be with you guys. SAC, safety, approval, control. Yep. Let's get it. Upward spiral. Peace. Let's go.